Social update, UG. Museveni unveils new cabinet, retains Nabanja, Alupo, and Janet in Kiri Shuffle. What you need to know is that among the notable ministers dropped from cabinet are Okello Oryem, Betty Amongi, Raphael Majezi, Sam Mangusho, Sheptoris, Matia Kashaija, Jeje Odongo, Evelyn Anite, veteran politician Moses Ali, and Ruth Nankabirwa. All those have been dropped. Justin Kasule Lumumba replaces Hamson Obua as whip, as Museveni mixes continuity with veteran political figures. President Museveni has unveiled a sweeping reshuffle of Uganda's executive, naming a new 2026 to 2031 cabinet that introduces major changes across key ministers while retaining Vice President Jessica Alupo and Prime Minister Robin Nabanja. In a statement issued under Articles 108 and related provisions of the 1995 Constitution, Museveni on Tuesday night announced appointments covering cabinet ministers, ministers of state, and senior presidential advisors. At the top leadership level, Alupo remains vice president, while Nabanja retains her role as prime minister and leader of government business in parliament. Foreign affairs has been handed to Uganda's ambassador and permanent representative to the United Nations, Adonia Ayebare, replacing the previous ministerial structure in the docket. In a series of high-profile changes, Dr. Chris Baryomonsi moves to head the Ministry of Health from the Ministry of Information, Communications, Technology, and National Guidance, while Jane Ruth Acheng shifts from Health to the Gender, Labour, and Social Development Ministry. I actually have a question. Why would ministers be shifted from one ministry to another? Do they really have the expertise to run the other ministry? Because you can't shift a minister from, say, health, then to gender and labor. I find that disturbing a little bit. Veteran Finance Minister Matia Kashaija was dropped from cabinet, marking one of the most notable exits in the reshuffle. I think mumujjukira bulungi nnyo Matia Kashaija yabagamba munno economy will be like nakola akantu k'ennyonyi. He has been dropped, and it's one of the most notable exits in the reshuffle. While Balam Barugahara moves from youth and children affairs to local government, General Katumba Wamala replaces Wilson Muruli Mukasa as Minister of Public Service, while Sanje Tana takes over the Trade, Industry and Cooperatives docket. Kakati no Sanje Tana omusajja ayogeza abantu ebitono n'ebingi because musajja muyindi bewuunya how can he be a minister. NRM/A veteran Major General Kahinda Otafire shifts from internal affairs to water and environment, and Fred Byamukama takes charge of works and transport. Among new entrants at ministerial level are Desire Muhoza for agriculture, Robert Ndugwamigadde for fisheries, Minister of Agriculture, More Industry and Fisheries, Grace Chifeza Ngabirano Oyononga wa Defense and Veterans Affairs, Magode Ikuya, that's for East African Affairs, and Phyllis Chemutai, who takes over primary education. In the Finance Ministry, Sise Mulondo becomes Minister of State for General Duties. Amina Mukalazi handles privatization and investment, while Shatsi Kotesa Musherure is assigned microfinance. In Foreign Affairs, Calvin A. Chodu joins the Minister of State for Internal Affairs, while Cheyune Haruna Kasolo moves to Regional Affairs. In Gender, Labour and Social Development, ex-Prime Minister Amama Mbabazi's wife Jacqueline Mbabazi takes Elderly Affairs, while Simon Mulongo Chan Joyce Okeni and Lakisa Faith assume portfolios in employment, disability, and youth affairs, respectively. At Internal Affairs, academic Lawrence Muganga joins as Minister of State, while Justin Namere is appointed Minister of State for Local Government, and Susan Nakauchi Nsambu enters the tourism docket. Other notable movements include General Kahindo Otafire's reassignment, the retention of several long-serving ministers in strategic dockets, and a wider reconfiguration of state ministers across finance, health, works, energy, and lands. The reshuffle also introduces several new entrants into government, including Jonad Asimwe, Robert Ndugwamigadde, Justin Namere, Lawrence Muganga, and Susan Nakauchi Nsambu, signaling a mix of continuity and controlled renewal. Museveni also named senior presidential advisors, including Hamson Obua, Ruth Nankabirwa, Francis Mwebesa, and Evelyn Anite, while Kenneth Omona was transferred to the diplomatic service as an ambassador. The announcement comes as Uganda's 12th parliament begins its legislative cycle, with government expected to prioritize wealth creation, infrastructure, development, and service delivery. Full details of the appointments are expected to be gazetted. Agono ge mawulire agakwata ku new cabinet, era nga nsobola okuddamu ne nkuyitiramuuko katonotono wano. Full statement. By virtue of powers given to the President of Uganda under Articles 108 bracket 1 and bracket 2, 108A bracket 1, 111 bracket 1, blah blah blah, the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, the following persons have been proposed for appointments as Vice President, Prime Minister, Cabinet Ministers, Minister of State, and Senior Presidential Advisors. Vice President and Prime Minister, His Excellency the Vice President. Honorable Justice Rose Epel Alupo, retired Honorable Prime Minister and Leader of Government Business in Parliament, Honorable Nabanja. Cabinet Ministers, Tuinamu First Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of East African Community Affairs, retired Honorable Rebecca Kadaga. So that has been the reshuffle. Just tell me what you think in the comments, and tell me the shocking dropping or the shocking appointment. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button. Peace.